Thank you and good afternoon. This is Sam Vaughan for Sam Sports Report. Oh yeah, we're gonna do that. In Saturday night scores, the Steelers win, which they didn't play their best ball, but they didn't have to. They had to play the Ravens backups. And once again, although their sack leader got hurt in the game, a left knee injury. TJ Watt, player, one of the best players in the NFL at his position, there's none other like him. The bottom line is, I'd rather play Pittsburgh if I'm Kansas City, but it seems low as the chances. Najee Harris has over 100 yards and other stats to come. No other stats. His second in a row. That's his most he's ever in his career. No other stats on the game that are mentionable. The Steelers now have a 72% chance of the New York Times making the playoffs. Here's a list of the ways they have to do it. Read them on your screen. Also, read them on the screen about the seedings. Bills loss or a Jaguars loss or tie. And a Texans Colts or tie. Well, Texans and Colts tie did not happen. The Texans looked like the better team all night. But the one problem they had was Jonathan Taylor. But the Colts had Gardner Minshew, who stinks. Played the first half pretty bad, and then he played it okay and jumped up a little bit in the second half. Colts had a key missed field goal because that Texans missed extra point would have allowed the Colts to tie it. But previous to that, the Texans did go down for a 12-yard drive play. They got the Colts down by 6. That was in the end zone. That got the Colts down by 6. Back to a key fourth down. And then the Colts get the ball back down to a fourth down. Key down. 4th and 1. That would decide the game. And they took Jonathan Taylor out. Why? You took out Michael Jordan. He had over 188 yards. Phil Jackson take out Michael Jordan on the final shot. Nope, you didn't. You also didn't have a quarterback that stinks. And then you throw it to his backup. Why wouldn't you throw the ball to Jonathan Taylor, which I'm fine with. But I'd rather see him run it. I mean, that would make more sense, wouldn't it? Well, that was the game. That took care of the game after they didn't make the first down, a drop screen, 23-19. Games that matter today. We'll start with the Panthers and Bucks. The Panthers are obviously the worst team in football. The Bucks need to win to get in. The Panthers will give the Bears the number 1 pick after they traded it last year. Let's get back to the game. The Panthers and Bucks. Players to watch out for, of course, Baker Mayfield, who is still an average quarterback or below starter, but the Bucks seem to like him. The Panthers, Bryce Young has had a tough season under David Tepper. Maybe looking for maybe wanting to do a re-over as C.J. Stroud's in the playoffs and his team is the worst team in football, Bryce Young. And that's for David Tepper, who is off to the worst team in football. Is the worst team in football this year. Comparing Stroud's stats and Bryce Young's stats is for a different day. At the receiver position, Adam Thielen, who has over 1,000 yards, and the wily veteran, he is Mike Evans for the Buccaneers. He has over 1,200 yards and 13 touchdowns, which was good enough to lead league in touchdowns. Game time is at 12 and 1 Eastern. Bucks win and they're in. Bucks are favored by 4.5. Give me the Bucks 27-20. Vikings and Lions. Here's how the Lions get the number 2 seed. The Lions beat the Vikings in an unexpected loss to Dallas. And if Philadelphia gets beat by New York. Since I don't have the playoff prediction right in front of me, since sometimes the playoff scenarios are hard to understand, here's how the Vikings get in. Players to watch out for in this game: Ramon St. Brown, who has over 1,300 yards, top 5 in the game season, as Justin Jefferson, who had 141. He did miss 2 months in the season, but has been good when healthy. Quarterback Jared Goff, that is Justin Jefferson. Quarterback Jared Goff and Nick Mullins. Obviously, Goff has a better quarterback in the game, as Kirk Cousins lost his job. As a bunch of quarterbacks have lost their job during the season for the Vikings. Game time is at 12 Central and 1 Eastern between the Vikings and Lions. Falcons and Saints. Desmond Ridder. As Taylor Heineke was announced, he was out for the game. Desmond Ridder. He has been the starter for most of the season, but has not fared well in the stat column. David Carr will get the start for Saints. Ridder stunk. David Carr has not been very good. For everyone who thinks he's a top 10 quarterback, he's not. He's maybe a 15. Players to watch out for on defense: Jesse Bates, who has 6 INTs and third in the league. Also safety Tyrann Mathieu is also a player to watch out for. He is a former Chief, of course. Saints are favored by 3. Here's a situation that the Falcons and Saints have to do to get in, even though it's a long shot. Just to mention something we didn't mention at the beginning, Todd Bowles could be out of his job as if he loses the game to the Falcons. Otherwise, maybe he keeps his job. They're at the bricks of making the playoffs. As we talked about, the wild card is not in play for the Saints. Buccaneers head coach Arthur Smith's kick is at 1:12 Central. Now we'll go on to a game that doesn't matter for very few people. Maybe it matters. The Jets and Patriots could be in their final game for Bill Belichick, as his game time is at 12. New England is favored by 2. The Browns clinch the 5th seed, and the Bengals will play the Bengals. The Bengals are out of the playoffs. This game does not matter. Browns will sit their starters. Game time, give me Bengals 20-13, favored by 7. Jets should also fire their coach, Robert Slaw. The Browns have won 4 games in a row to play the Bengals. The Bengals are out of the playoffs, and the Browns will sit their starters. Give me the Bengals 20-13, as I think their backups are good. They were good last week against the Chiefs. The Titans will play the Jacksonville Jaguars. Quarterback Trevor Lawrence. This could be a key game for other teams, not the Titans, but other teams the Titans could help. Trevor Lawrence will be a key player in the game. Also, C.J. Beathard could get the start for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's done a good job managing the game. Will Levis will be out on Saturday. He has had a good year. It'll be on back to Ryan Tannehill, who started the year and gave his quarterback job, then got hurt. Lutz got hurt and he gave back. Titans quarterback spot, Ryan Tannehill. Travis Etienne Jr. with 102 yards last week. Could reach all his potential, but he hasn't yet. He has 951 yards rushing. He had over 1,000 last year, but now he has a better yard in receiving by about 100. He is very good and has plenty of potential. He has potential to be one of the top 3 backs in the league. On the ground, he's 1,100 yards. When Derrick Henry is healthy, he is still one of the top 3 running backs last year, as he has over 1,000 yards. With the win over the Panthers, Jaguars officially control their own destiny. Right now, the Colts are at the top, but if the Jaguars win, they win their division. If the Jaguars would lose to the Titans on Sunday, the Jags would be a wild card team. Now, Jags could not make the playoffs, but their chances are pretty good. ESPN FBI gives them an 83.2%, and New York Times gives them an 77%. 24-17, line is 4. Kickers at 1 Eastern and 12 Central. Mike could be without a job if the Titans have not done so well this season. We have a bunch of other games to go over. 4:25 span. Seahawks are 8-8 and have lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers last Sunday, lowering their chances to make the playoffs to a 21%. They are on the cusp of being eliminated from the playoff contention. Players to watch out for: DJ Metcalf and Trey McBride. The Cardinals are playing the Seahawks. Trey McBride is usually the only player I can find on the Cardinals that is good, as the Cardinals are not a very good team. He's a very good player. Players to watch out for: Geno Smith and Kyle Murray, both at the quarterback spot, and both could be in question if they have their job back next season. The Cardinals have not had a good season. It'll be interesting to see if Kyle Murray will be a quarterback next year. Head coaching staff, and will they change the head coaching staff and a new GM into the Cardinals? How does the Seahawks make the playoffs? Right here is a scenario below. You can read. Kickoff is at 3:25 and 4:25 Eastern. Next game we'll do is the Cowboys and Commanders. Commanders and Cowboys, here's how the seeding works. For the Cowboys, CeeDee Lamb will be a player to watch out for. For the Cowboys, and Trey McLean will be a player to watch out for. For Dak Prescott, the receiver position, watching out for quarterbacks Dak Prescott and Sam Howell, who has to be one of the worst quarterbacks in the league, while Dak Prescott has a real good season. Parsons will be a player to watch out for at the linebacker position. Montez Sweat has a good career, has not had the stats like he did in the seasons past. Game time is at 4:25. Cowboys are favored by a lot, giving me them 30-20. Raiders and Broncos is not a game we need to preview, as both teams are out of the playoffs. The Packers, this game doesn't matter for the Packers. When and their end, Bears could fire Matt Eberflus. I'm on the fence about it. The Bears have gotten a little bit of a roll at the end of the season. He also was just hired a year ago. But could this just have been a bad fire from the start? Okay, then fire him. Bears seem to be watch out for quarterback Justin Fields, and is he the player that starts next year, or do they go to the number 1 draft pick? Also watch out for players like DJ Moore is a player to watch out for. Rashawn Gray, player to watch out for. He has a lot of sacks. Rashawn Gray is a very good defensive player. Watch out for him and Jalen Johnson, cornerback who has 6 picks. Game time is at 4:25. 1 Eastern and 12 Central. The Chiefs and Chargers, this game doesn't matter because a lot of local team will be on the field. A local team will not matter. For them, they're already in the 3rd seed. The Chargers are out of the playoffs, so the game doesn't really matter as far as records. But Chase Daniels and Easton Stick will get to start. Some people wanting to see I want to see receivers that cannot drop the ball. McCole Hardman needs to answer that question, because I know he is what he is, but I still need to know if he can catch it and if he's healthy. Chiefs Travis Kelce wants to get over 1,000 yards. I'm not a big fan of playing him, but if he wants to get over 1,000 yards, he deserves it. He'd become one of the only 16 players to be made 8,000 yards receiving seasons. It's an untouchable number for the tight ends, as I think it was 3 years ago that he topped the 1,000 yards from most in a season from a tight end. He would be the only 16th guy to do that. I said that. Most by far the best tight end in football. If he answers that bell that rings tonight, 1,000 yards. So he can decide what he wants to do, I said. For Chris Jones, I would not play him. A half sack is a lot. It could take the entire game, and he has a lot of injury history. I'm not doing that. Sunday night, kick is at 4:25. Sunday night football may be the most important of all. The Bills in the best game of the weekend. Probably the Bills will play the Dolphins. The Bills can miss a playoff. Here's how in that link. The Bills have been very inconsistent, but have seemed to pick it up in the last couple of games. Here's that link. Josh Allen and Tua Tagovailoa are players to watch out for. Tua Tagovailoa is expected to get a long-term contract. I don't know if that's a good idea, as he will reset the quarterback market, probably. Wide receiver Stephon Diggs to watch out for, has over 1,000 yards. And Tyreek Hill has a so absurd start, and he looked like the guy he was going to reach 2,000 yards, but he did last year, and he did make it. He still leads the league in defense of players. No game Monday night. That will have the national championship. This is Sam Vaughan for Sam Sports Report.